something that came about. It just came about. I just recently, in the last few years, have said there are things in life that will happen if you open up to the universe and let it happen. And so I have been a little more aware of that, and I have a good time. I probably have the best, for me anyway, because I'm an outdoorist. I get to go up and teach in the high country. I hike people up a trail, and we paint a beautiful lake or a stream. So the animal idea came from the fact that there are other animals and creatures and bugs and things here on the earth that we sometimes overlook. And sometimes it's nice to stop and make them the subject of your piece of artwork. So I decided to do that. And in the process, I asked some friends if they'd like to join me. And I was really specific on who I asked, because I didn't want them necessarily to be artists that did artwork on just animals. I have several that are very good. They're lovely people, but the people that I asked specifically had a love for nature, a love for art. Some of them were new to the art world, relatively new. Some of them have been around a long time. Some are mentors of mine. And, you know, from that, this group has just come together. Everybody will create 2 or 3 animals. It could be the same animal. We could duplicate. Several of us are doing bears. It doesn't make a difference because it's how we render the artwork, how it comes from us to the world, comes into that new world of here it is. We're going to take it on the road and see what happens. It's like being out in the wilderness and going down a trail to see what's just over the hill. Well, it's kind of fun.
The women that are already involved in it, I think each one of them has something so unique to offer. And when I'm around people who are at that level and that caliber of artists and have that kind of creativity, you know, it bounces my game up a bit.
This project has stretched me because I don't consider myself an artist. I don't do art as often, or it's not as much of my life as it is with most people here. So working with a group of artists that I see as being very accomplished, to me is a stretch for me, period, much less bringing in my favorite animal into the mix.
I am a late bloomer in the art world, having only painted in the last 7 years. Susan has invited me to participate in this ArtClan project, and I'm very excited about being involved with it.
All the kids in the block would get together and we'd go draw, and she showed us how to draw the San Bernardino Mountains by shading them, lights and darks, and when that happened I knew I had to be an artist.
I've been an artist for approximately most of my life. I started at the age of 2 in clay, decided to join this project because I have for years painted a lot of environmental things, but part of that included the animals, which I was very excited to hear that I could be part of this project. It's stretching me quite a bit.
Well, I took the opportunity to paint with this group and share. I think sharing is important with other artists, and it was a challenge. I believe that studying on the internet the spirit of the deer made me even more determined to be a part of this ArtClan.
Sue and I were actually the originators of this idea. We kind of were bouncing ideas off of one another. She came in and said, hey, I've got this idea for a totem project and you're into animals, so why don't we get together with some other artists and see how they feel about it and see if we can make this thing fly. So I do animals anyway, so needless to say, it's right up my alley.
I would love to see that the pictures bring new focus to animals that we need to revere and to love and respect and to continue to care for, and just kind of open people's eyes on issues that are forthcoming to help them survive and for us to become better human beings.
It stretches me as an artist to try the new things, to try and catch the essence of the animal, like the anger in the Wolverine's face when he ran. And the birds were so lovely. To try, I think it stretches me to try and show in my work the emotions that I have for these creatures.
I'm hoping to bring a sense of maybe capable attitude to people who look at it. If I can do it, you can do it. It doesn't have to be great, and just taking the time to sit and think about your animal, the situation they're in on this earth. Just take some moments out of your life and think about all the other creatures on the planet with us. I would hope to bring that to people. I loved watching otter when we were lucky enough to see them. We camped a lot and traveled a lot, and we would sit quietly waiting to see if otter or beaver would come and show up in different places. And it was just a thrill when they did, because they were so much fun. Curious about us as we were about them. And I've always really felt like I wanted to think of them as my totem. Happy.
My defining moment actually is when Sue Berry and her plein air group, the Meadow Group, asked me to go out with them for the first time ever. And that was it. I was hooked. I love the outdoors. I love to paint. I do watercolor, oil, pastel, and scratchboard, so I love them all. This project is stretching me on a different level. My grandfather was a Saxon Fox Native American Indian. So I've, over the years, always been fascinated by their culture and the animal world that they revered. His name was Sturgeon, and I should have maybe picked the sturgeon, but anyway, I still have to go with my connection, and that is still with the canine families. The part about stretching is the research and the knowledge of what my past is all about, and that's kind of exciting, so that's a big stretch for me.
You know, there is a deciding and final factor that got me going on this. I went into a friend who is a terrific artist who does a lot of pencil work, birds. I was telling her that I would love to do an animal show, pictures, paintings, artwork, sculpture of animals, and she said, wow, this would be a great idea. And she said, let's do it. And I said, okay. And she said, but not until a certain date, because we needed some time to put it together. And I said, okay, and from there it just blossomed.